Hello, everybody. How is everybody? Hello, everybody. How is everybody? All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry about the holding off here. Just give me a second. I was just testing something if it was going to work or not. It looks like everything's good, so just give me 1 second. I do have a few special guests today that is coming in. Trever WX from the tropics around the world is going to be tuning into the live stream. Also, we have another special guest, and that is going to be a surprise, you guys, all right? Just give me 1 second. I'm going to get into this currently.
Yes.
All right.
There we go.
All right. I was making sure everything was good. I fixed it, I think.
That's good.
Hi, Earth Central.
Welcome.
Hey.
Weather Kingdom, why the moment I typed potato on your chat did YouTube suddenly say it wasn't available?
Oops.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
That's hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious.
Hey.
That is funny.
No,
I was
you're-
like, oh, let me, because I mod for him too. So I was like, oh no, let me mod for him just in case something goes wrong. I typed the potato waiting for the stream, and then suddenly it crashed.
No, actually, for some reason, when I started the stream, it started me up on a whole nother streaming thing. So I just deleted that one and just did this one.
We're streaming right now.
Yeah, we are. It's been a
Yeah.
while. So, welcome back, everybody. If you are new to the channel, I am Weather Kingdom. We do have a few special guests here. If you guys would like to say hi to the stream, feel free to.
All right. What is up, weather enthusiasts? I'm Pat's Path Predictor here on the stream tonight because we have a lot of fun weather to talk about for this week, and we got plenty of friends and plenty of callers to go around as well. And I'll turn to everyone else.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I will definitely be reporting on it because I'll be in the middle of it.
Yeah, I will be in the middle of it too.
Yep.
I'll probably be door dashing in it too, like an idiot. But anyway,
You good.
Yeah. All right.
but half an inch of ice, I'm pretty sure the whole state will shut down.
Okay.
All right. So, anyone else that's going to be here joining the stream for tonight?
Probably, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but
Okay. First off, I think you guys have seen there has been a lot of action. Not too much action actually been going on, but there is looking to be some action getting into Thanksgiving week. What are your guys' first thoughts on the Thanksgiving week across the US?
I'd say keep an eye on the weather and make travel plans based on the weather. That's your best bet of surviving it, honestly. Basically, if your route involves in bad weather, plan accordingly, leave early to avoid it, or just flat out cancel said plans.
Yes.
Because it is better to cancel the plans and survive than not cancel the plans and possibly die in a multi-car pileup due to bad weather.
All right. Pat, I know you've been watching across the United States for Thanksgiving week. What is your first thoughts going into Thanksgiving week? And what are you
Well-
more concerned about?
Well, my overall thoughts on this is going to be a very crazy week for winter weather. It's going to be a very crazy week for pretty much any type of weather you're going to get, whether it's severe weather, tropical weather, or winter weather, which is kind of crazy that we're even talking about this at this current point in time. And not only that, we're also looking at a polar vortex that's going to be moving through parts of the U.S. starting later this week, going into the first few days of December as well. That's another thing I'm concerned about that we're going to want to pay attention to as well. And in terms of the in terms of what I'm most concerned about right now, just first of all, we have an Alberta Clipper system that's going to be moving through in the next couple of days, starting in parts of the northern Great Plains, going into the upper Midwest. And then after that, on the 29th and the 30th of November in particular, we're going to see a pretty big snowstorm going on from that as well. And then from that point, at that point, we also have to watch the severe weather threat as well. There's going to be a pretty powerful cold front with that second winter storm as well that we're going to want to pay attention to. The areas I'm most concerned about are obviously much of the upper Midwest. I would say the Chicago area needs to be watching this very closely. But I think the state that I would highlight that is going to see the most action, not necessarily in terms of snowfall, but in terms of impacts, is Michigan. Because yes, Minnesota could definitely, and Wisconsin could see some more snow than Michigan, but Michigan looks like it's going to be in the line of fire, especially the upper peninsula for the first round. And then for the second round, especially, it's going to go throughout the rest of the state. And especially with travel going on for many people. I actually have some friends who live in Michigan, some of whom are probably going to be going back to school around that weekend of the 29th and the 30th. They're going to want to watch this and pay attention to see how this goes. So that's going to really impact a lot of travel up there as well. So that's kind of the one state I would highlight is the biggest area of concern for me. And that would be definitely Michigan because of the impacts to both travel and because of the snowfall we could see.
Yes. Speaking on the, okay.
I would like to get my thoughts in because it's a lot crazier than that. First of all, I've been looking at the severe weather tomorrow. I just want to let y'all know, if you are in that severe weather tomorrow, I know it's only a slight risk, but the Storm Prediction Center does say if any supercell could get very organized tomorrow, we do have a potential of EF2 plus tornadoes. So that is a concern tomorrow, but it depends on the storm mode and the amount of the warm set we get into it. I agree with everybody. The system next week has my eye too. And I've been pretty dormant ever since hurricane season. And by the way, for people not to get off guard, it's a low chance, but one more name is possible. The Google mind keeps flipping between the subtropics and a rare Caribbean December. Will it happen? We don't know, but this is not a fake signal. There is actually a MJO pulse. So we'll be watching that carefully also, which is in the same correlation as your Arctic blast and your severe weather, which is quite iconic.
Yes, I do want to point out that severe weather for tomorrow.
We do have in Australia and an invest between the Philippines and Taiwan.
Yeah, all right, Trevor, go ahead and give.
So essentially, GFS, 18Z GFS is supporting a very powerful Arctic blast.
Yes.
And it's supposed to hit me as well. And God, I'm going to be in the middle of it.
Yeah, actually, speaking on that Arctic, okay.
And then there was a second one believed to come in between the 9th, I believe. And that one is supposed to hit the hardest up in Dakotas.
Yeah, I've been watching that. We have a few things. So I wanted to show you guys the severe weather for tonight and tomorrow, but this is currently that I have on my screen right now. It's the 3 to, I don't know, can you guys see my screen, right?
We can.
You can? Okay.
I can see it on your end. It's the outlook, right?
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah, this is the outlook, and this is for the 3 to 4 week temperature outlook. And it's pretty crazy to me that they have been updating it, and the last update was the 21st, just a few days ago. And they have been
Oh.
actually growing the signal for colder and colder temperatures, especially across the northern United States, especially across the Dakotas and the Great Lakes region and across the New England area. Definitely some colder air looks to be taking place from pretty much up to December 6th to December 19th, you guys. This is the week after December into the 19th. They are forecasting pretty much below temperatures across the central northern parts of the United States, the Great Lakes, all of the Northeast, parts of the Mid-Atlantic,
No,
and the West, northern parts of the West.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the 6
Go
to
ahead,
10
Trevor.
day
I do
outlook.
have a question.
Yeah, I will.
I do have a question about the Great Lakes. Would that increase the risk of like a major lake effect snow event?
I was actually
would
going to
say
yes.
I would say absolutely. And is it okay, Weather Kingdom, if I take this real quickly?
Yes, go ahead. Feel free.
Yeah, the reason it would is because I actually have some friends who have been watching the temperatures of the lake effect. It's not the temperatures of the lake effect. The temperatures of the lake, they are considerably above average. We're looking at a good 3 to 4 degrees Celsius, which is about 5 to 7 degrees Fahrenheit above average, especially on Lake Michigan. Those anomalies are only going to surge as we see this temperature blast moving down to two parts
So
of the Great Lakes. And even before this happens, we're going to see temperatures probably in the 40s and 50s. It's not going to cool down those waters too much until we start seeing more of the Alberta Clippers and we start seeing this blast starting to plow into the Midwest. So I would say it definitely increased the chances for lake effect.
Yes, thank you for that.
That's
Yes.
quicker.
Go ahead,
And
Earth
also,
Central.
if I'm not mistaken, assuming the Alberta Clipper doesn't snag the name, the potential big winter storm, ice storm setup next week might snatch the name of Austin on the Weather Channel's winter storm name. So
Probably,
there's that.
but I don't pay too much attention to that, admittedly.
Okay.
I will also like to note, I want to talk about this real quick because I know we're talking about all this, but I want to highlight something tomorrow that the only reason why the Storm Prediction Center did not go enhanced risk is a messy storm mode. There is some progressive outflow, the near parallels to the shear vector, but if any good discrete supercells, and this is not just in Texas.
This is
They
also
say this is all the
yes.
way in western Mississippi. We got a whole mesoscale area that could potentially give us a surprise tomorrow. So,
I have it right here, Tristan, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just
it's
and
the
remember-
South severe weather season.
And I need to say this right now. A lot of people are going to say, "Oh, the slight risk failed." The one lesson I've learned from winter setups, it is not about the afternoon. It is when that low-level jet strikes. When that low-level jet strikes, that's when you need to keep an eye on it. And not only that, I took this from Rolling Fork. All it takes is one supercell to get into the perfect environment, and it's a bad day for somebody. So please pay attention to your watches and warnings.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna bring up her model here for tomorrow.
Being a bad day for someone might be the last day for someone else.
This is-
Agreed.
Hey, Weather Kingdom, if you want, I actually have a website that I use that probably would give you better presentation, actually.
Yeah.
I use COD,
Yep.
the COD.
Yep.
I'm going to send this
COD,
to you.
yeah.
Yep.
COD, yeah.
I got it right here.
Yep. I
Pivotal
would
weather
use
is also
that.
really good. Pivotal weather is also really good if you want to really zoom into the detail of what's going on too.
Yeah,
Those
for
are
sure.
good options.
Yeah,
Is someone
but,
able to send me
go
that so I don't
to
have
go ahead and go to the
trouble
zero
with it?
C and go to go to precip.
Precept. Could you also and remember the models can be delayed 1 to 2 hours or ahead 1 to 2 hours. So the timing is I want you to pay attention to Texas.
Yeah, let me actually
That
go
is a
there.
setup
Someone send me
that is
that.
a setup that I'm really scared of. Here's why. What do you see in Texas? What do we call those?
Individual
Confluence
supercells.
bands.
Yes.
Confluence bands. There are basically little areas of lift, of subtle lift, that basically can support discrete supercells. So if these storms can have enough time, the line of storms doesn't rush this, those supercells could be in a really interesting environment tomorrow. Not only that, but even then, the complex is kind of training on the track. That's why we also got a slight risk of flash flooding with a flash flood watch in effect for parts of the Dallas metro going into parts of north central Texas tonight into tomorrow. That's also another thing to keep an eye on. Look at the rain totals in North Texas. Wow, look at that little streak near Dallas. That could be somewhere else, but look, that's a decent training corridor right there. So yeah, that's gives our threats.
And that may actually come in handy with this. The thing is, in the Seattle area, confluence bands are pretty common for them this time of year, and that's why this time of year Seattle tends to see more tornadic activity than any other time of the year, ironically, and that's kind of how Port Orchard had that EF2 in 2018. So
when it comes to, so basically, let me give some education, people. When it comes to severe weather in the second portion during the wintertime, it's incredibly hard to predict where these are. Our models are inaccurate, and we don't know what's gonna happen. So we have to rely on SPC data and essentially what our other models are basically saying that we can use an advantage for this.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
When it comes to winter, I don't know if the snowfall totals can be wrong, but sometimes they can be inaccurate to the point where we have to go off the National Weather Service snowfall total instead of theirs.
Yes, I agree. I am looking at the most unstable Cape and Shear for tomorrow, and I will say looking at the severe weather convection for tomorrow is actually, I would argue that they might go enhance. I mean, the
conditions are good.
The conditions are pretty good. It's not the best with the Cape and Shear. I mean, I've seen better, but there is enough of uplift, and there is enough to produce a few good supercells. The supercell composite shows pretty good on here. I don't know if this is overdone, but
Weather Kingdom, I would like to say real quick that sometimes the models can underperform the environment until the day of. Not only that, but a lot of winter setups tend to have lower Cape and higher Shear. That's how normally they run. There are exceptions, of course. We all know December 10th was a very huge exception. December 15th was a huge exception. Also, the other thing that makes me not go enhance is the storm mode. You can have all the right conditions, but if the supercell inflow keeps getting clogged by the cool air of all the precipitation around it, the storms may not be able to produce say tornadoes. Could they produce spin up still? Absolutely, especially if the shear can overdo it. But my problem for tomorrow is the messy mode. Even though that could do a few QLCS tornadoes, the main area by the models you would want to pay attention to is likely eastern Texas into western Louisiana in terms of the main threat for say tornadoes due to the confluence setup.
Hey, another thing I want to point out very quickly, Tristan, there's another thing we need to consider as well. And this is why I'm personally thinking they're going to hold it slight. Cloud cover. That's something that has been touched on, because what you need to have that really good organized convection is you need clear skies, at least in the morning, and then partly cloudy going into the mid-morning and early afternoon. Yeah. We don't have that. It's mainly overcast to about 80% cloud for a lot of Texas at the time of convective initialization. And another thing we need to also keep in mind as well is models are one thing, but we have to pay attention to the observations. Is there cloud cover? Is there a dry line that's developing, especially in this part of the country as well, that can be used for forcing? What kind of cold fronts is this? What's even the forcing of this in the first place? And also, what are the lapse rates as well? Because that is also something that we need to pay attention to, because you can have a good environment, but if you don't have good lapse rates, nothing's really going to happen.
That is very true.
We have seen cases though where even if the lapse rates are not 100% the best, Pat, if the shear can overdo it, it will do it. We saw that during the what was it, December 28th of 2024, how Mississippi went insane with the QLCS outbreak. So we still do have to take some precautions. But yes, that is generally what we watch for.
Yeah, of course.
Another thing
I'm
that
just
we
trying to
should be
say
look-
that we need to look at the real-time conditions as on top of looking at models as well.
Absolutely.
yes.
I totally agree with you. In fact, SPC sounding website. Where are you?
Yeah,
I
that's
want you.
what I was about to point out. There's another website that we need to keep
Right.
an eye on, the SPC soundings.
Yeah.
Those are very accurate when it comes to the winter stuff.
When I tried to search up the website, it said the analysis help. Oops.
I used the SPC sounding during the December 28th outbreak, and it actually helped out.
It's very helpful. SPC sounding.
Look at this severe thunderstorm warning. A nice severe thunderstorm warning currently in effect in Texas out of today's slight risk. It's a pretty good supercell. Not a
Okay.
supercell, just a embedded line.
around.
We got a sounding from
Next
Dallas,
one's
actually.
Abilene. I'm taking a quick look at it on radar scope.
I do want to read some of the conditions.
It
here,
expires in 4 minutes.
actually. The 1 kilometer SRH is 200. That's pretty good.
That's pretty decent for your rotation right there.
Your surface to feet kilometer rat sites for the night before is 4.6. That's not horrible in the wintertime. Especially for the night before, you got an upper lapse rates of 6.9 Celsius per kilometer. Dew point spread of 67 to 51, especially the night before. That's not terrible either. Your hodograph is not terrible either. So in terms of the night before conditions, but this is in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm
The
currently
real
looking.
thing I want to
Yeah.
look at tomorrow morning is around Houston, going towards Shreveport and Lake Charles,
Yeah, I think that's very important to look at.
which we'll have to wait on data on, sadly.
I will
But Dallas
be.
is pretty good
yeah.
for tonight.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up about tomorrow's severe weather before I start switching it up to another topic? That's very important.
I could.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also keep in mind with the earlier sunsets, a lot of this will be after dark. Also, gotta keep in mind.
If we get
It gets bad because if a tornado takes your house, I mean, it's winter. You're kind of screwed on that. Not gonna lie. But that's one of the reasons why the winter setups are a lot more dangerous, because you end up being more exposed to the elements versus with the spring and summer setup.
Thank you, Earth Central. Anyone else?
just make sure you listen to your essentially just listen to the National Weather Service, listen to SBC discussions, listen to the MD discussions too, because those are very important to the point where they can help out.
Yeah.
You know what? Thank you for reminding me. I do need to check those offices over there.
I'll go ahead and close it with my final thoughts very quickly. While the ceiling for this for me is not particularly that impressive, I would still watch tomorrow morning to see how things go. In case we do see some more clearing than expected, we could definitely see a higher ceiling. But just watch what's going on tomorrow morning, and we'll be paying attention to it as well. But now, Weather Kingdom, I think if you're ready to switch topics, I think we're all okay with that. I think here.
Okay.
Pay attention. Have a NOAA weather radio. That's the last thing I will say. Please, they will wake you up at night if something occurs. It will be loud.
Yeah.
And also, not turn your phone on silent or vibrate before going to sleep. Make sure to be closed when going to sleep in case anything happens overnight.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So now I want to talk a little bit more about the cold and the upcoming chances for snow, especially across the upper Midwest. I think we are all aware that there's been a lot of disagreement on the models the last couple of days, and that's why it's been very hard to kind of pinpoint where this could set up. It looks to me that we are starting to line it up just a little bit better today on the European and most of the models. We're starting to get a better alignment. And believe it or not, I do think Chicago will see a few inches with our next snow event. Agree or not?
Another thing
Yeah.
another thing that we're also starting to pinpoint is the the weather prediction centers. 6 to 7 days out.
6 to 10 days. Yep. Yeah.
Threat and the snow. Ice storm.
But we do have a below average for temperatures within 6 to 10 days.
Yes, we do. We actually have very below average temperatures, believe it or not, especially across the upper Midwest, like north in the Dakotas and our next storm system where everything's going to align. And I think the next 6 to 10 day temperature outlook kind of tells you where we could be talking about our next snowstorm and where we could be talking about some of the severe weather. And would you guys agree?
Yeah, next problem.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say in the
You there?
Pittsburgh, Kansas area, we have the Christmas parade.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
All right, now we can.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry
All
about
right,
that.
please continue.
So I was just saying that I think the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook kind of shows us where our storm line is going to set up, because I think this is going to be more than just a piece of energy. I think there's going to be a few pieces of energy in this, and it's really making a complicated system. I think we're going to be talking about potentially snow. It's a little hard to say, but I do definitely think
Snow basically, I'll just say this: snow basically everywhere below the south.
yeah, I think in this region it's going to be where I think it's the better chance of the snow. I think Chicago's in it.
When it comes
Yeah.
to ice, the hardest impacts will be the central plains. When it comes to snow, it will probably be up in the Dakotas and probably some lake effect snows in the New York Metroplex.
That's
Yeah.
another big thing I would like to talk about tonight is that next lake effect snowstorm. I think that's going to be another very important thing. What can you guys take out of the next 6 to 10 day temperature forecast?
Is it okay if I may?
Yes.
What I'll say is I think part of that forecast, why we see that line, is because that's where that cold front is going to be situated by December 3rd. I actually looked at this earlier today, and I pointed out in my video, as a matter of fact, that what we have going on here is we're looking at a huge, very powerful cold front with that snow system that's going to drop temperatures from maybe 70 degrees, for example, in St. Louis, all the way down to 20 in the span of 18 hours. That's your cold front right there, ladies and gentlemen. And
What again?
that
Weather
is-
prediction center.
yeah, that kind of aligns with what the WPC and the CPC is going for at that current point. And to the point about snowfall, yeah, I actually do think Chicago could see some pretty hefty snowfall from this. Do I think it's going to be anything crazy? Not right now. We need more data and information, but I do like the synoptics in terms of potential snowfall with this. I do like the synoptics. They're overall pretty good with this, and I don't really have too many complaints with that going for that so far. I do like the synoptic setup. It's especially going into early December, and I think there's some areas, and especially in the upper Midwest, like Michigan, like I was mentioning earlier, they're going to get hammered by some snowfall, especially throughout Thanksgiving week.
And I'm now on Michigan.
Okay. Let's get back into here. Thank you, Pat, for that. Trevor, I know you said bring up the Weather Prediction Center.
So
I do have
here's what we have.
What would you like
Here's
to
what we
say?
have. We have some mixed precipitation here. Some snow up in the Rockies and some of the central U.S.
This is
plains.
I just want to say this is a chance. This is not how it's going to play out, you guys. You guys can see right here the chances. This is not how the storm system is going to be. This is just a chance of some precipitation like rain and winter weather. So I just want to clarify that.
Okay, so one thing that you should probably be noticing is that Saturday, you should see there is a, if you go to Saturday on this one.
Okay, let me just do that. All right.
So if you go to Saturday and look down near Texas,
right here.
you see how there's actually a sector down there called I think, what is it called? Dry line, I think.
Oh yeah, the dry line. Yep, right here.
Dry line, that is what's believed to be causing the I think the 29th or the 30th of severe weather.
Yes.
Up in the Central Plains, so basically from Nebraska all the way to Ohio, we have essentially a mix of snow and rain coming in. And then going all the way from Washington to New York, we have snow.
Yes, I think it's very important.
That Sunday, if you go over to it.
Okay.
Sunday, you have I don't know if you have a possible severe weather chance down the south, but that needs to be kept an eye on now.
Definitely.
You have mixed precipitation going a whole way from essentially from New Mexico all the way to Maine.
Of a chance.
This is a chance. But then you have essentially snow running all the way from Maine. So California all the way to Maine.
Yes, of a chance. This is going to be a very large system. That's going to be impacting the United States as it comes to Thanksgiving.
Multiple systems, actually.
Both.
Weather Kingdom.
It's
multiple systems.
Right.
Now, here's something that Pat mentioned about the lake effects. You go to the Weather Prediction Center. They're seeing this lake effect snow happening, and it lasts for about 3 days.
Yeah, you guys can see that right here, and I'm going to be talking about that on some of the NAM models and some of the global models. That's picking up on some very heavy snow bands, also some very strong winds. Will say I actually was in a lake effect snow band about last week, and I'm telling you, those things kick. You got easily 40-mile-an-hour winds. You got snow that's not like fluffy snow. It's more like it's a very icy snow, and it comes down very heavy, and if it hits you across your skin, it kind of hurts, especially if you don't have any like clothing on that is like winter material. And it can accumulate very fast and make the roads slippery pretty quickly.
Another thing I want to point out is go to overview.
Overview? Okay.
Real quick, I would like to say something real quick about tomorrow before we go into that. I am a little more concerned about tomorrow. I was looking at the soundings and the storm predictors in the discussion right now. One of the things we look for in a severe weather setup is capping. There's a little bit more capping than forecasted, which means that it may not be all messy mode tomorrow. Those strongest updrafts may be able to pull through. So if they go enhance on day one, I wouldn't be shocked, or I wouldn't be shocked if they wait longer. But the capping is a little stronger than forecasted. So I want to see how those updrafts react tomorrow.
All right. I wanted to bring up a point about the lake effect since Weather Kingdom is bringing this up.
Yes.
I think a good example of what lake effect snow would look like. If you guys know my buddy Ethan WX, he actually wrote out that big lake effect band about 2 weeks ago now up in Northwest Indiana. He actually has a 40-minute video on his second channel where you can see some of the highlights of it and what he was doing. I think if you took a look at that, it would pretty much describe what Weather Kingdom was talking about. Those were near blizzard conditions with what we had there. And that's the kind of situation you're dealing with in regards to what we might be seeing with this lake effect stuff, potentially around Thanksgiving.
Hey Pat, I would like to say also, it actually reminded me of a snow MCS. Did you see the little mesoscale lows that were forming on it?
What was that from the WPC?
2 weeks ago, yes. The one for 2 weeks ago, there was like part of the snowband had like an eye-like feature on Doppler.
Oh
for, like,
yeah,
a brief
I saw
moment.
that. I were watching that.
Yeah, it was basically a snow MCS. I never seen that before. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, I do have the GFS. I know it's a global model, but it does kind
One
of
of
show
the
you
worst.
guys where the lake effect snow bands could set up. And on your day, when is the November 27th? What would that exactly be?
27th
Thursday.
is
November
Thanksgiving.
27th would be on the Thursday.
That'd be Thanksgiving.
Okay. Okay, then I guess we could be talking about a white Thanksgiving for parts of the Great Lakes.
Yeah.
Possible.
The thing is, if this happens, we'll be talking probably about the lake effect snow warnings being issued just in those areas, because we've had a couple already. I've already issued 2 of them this year already. I've issued 6 of them, and 2 of them are from this winter.
Yeah. That's pretty
So it
good.
ain't fun.
Yeah, I bet. If we
And-
look at this, oh, what else would you like to say?
There's another thing I'm going to point out to you. Pull up that weather prediction center again.
Okay.
Pull up day 3.
Yep.
So you see how North Dakota and Minnesota have that effect going on?
I see it.
Oh yeah,
Snow.
I see it. Yep.
We are starting to think that there's a possible blizzard going to happen. And that's not fun. And if a possible blizzard happens, possible
very-
stream for me.
Yeah, I
I'm
agree
not-
because they do have a heavy snow hatch area right
And
here.
if you look at the
11.
which is storm watch that they're under, winds could gust up to 35 to 45.
Where's the winter storm watch? Oh,
North Dakota,
Oh.
it's up there.
all right.
So
Yeah, for
there's-
North Dakota, you guys, and Minnesota. And actually, let's just quickly just click on one of these things. Yeah, winds could gust as high as 35 miles an hour on this current one with 3 to 6 inches of snow possible.
Now the one near
The big question with that is,
that's
what's
the
the
one that says
visibility going to
45.
be? It
Well,
needs
yeah.
to be less than a quarter of a mile for 3 hours for blizzard conditions to kick in, with those gusts on top of that.
Yep, this winter storm watch, just for the North Dakota, does say causing areas of blowing snow and drifting snow is possible. They don't really talk about anything with blizzard yet, but they do talk
Look
about
at the one
blowing.
near, okay,
I'm not
so
surprised about that.
here's something. Look at the one near Jamestown.
Right here.
That's
40.
where it says the high gust of 45.
Yeah, with
I would
blowing
not be surprised
snow.
if we see maybe an isolated blizzard warning issued from the Bismarck NWS.
And then
that
you have over there where your radar's at. Click on theirs. They're mentioning lake effect.
They are. Where?
I think the one in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Yeah, the one in northwest Wisconsin, that would be the one to take a look at, because that's on Lake Superior.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Total snow
that's-
accumulation is 49.
Yep, that's from that Alberta Clipper system that we're going to be seeing soon. That's
Lake,
the first
okay, right
system.
here, got it. Heavy lake effect snow possible. Total snow accumulation between 6 to 12 inches locally expected. Locally higher amounts greater than 12 inches is possible for the northern Iron County. Winds could gust as high as 35 miles an hour.
Now, here's a question for people that could probably answer this. Can we get a lake effect snow up there that's labeled as a lake effect snow warning?
I believe so.
Because I've never seen one up there yet.
I think it would, if it's from the clipper itself, no. If it's directly from the wind flow behind the clipper, maybe.
I do want to look at some of these snowfall totals with our first system here. Oh, wait, I'm a little ahead now. Okay, so this is our next storm. Okay, so this part of the Alberta Clipper. For tomorrow.
Yeah.
Look at this. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be blizzard conditions. I think if anything, winter storm warnings. It's not a very robust area of low pressure. I do believe drifting snow is possible and some gusty winds. But I do think we could definitely talk. I mean, it's a quick mover. It's in and out in just about a day. But I mean, as this low deepens, I could see potentially possible spotty blizzard conditions. Where I just circled where the heavier banding is and where this is kind of all consolidating. But look at the sharp gradient with these temperatures. I mean, very impressive temperature and gradients. When we take a look at the temperature shadings, look at this. You know, we go to the North Dakota, South Dakota, and these regions here. Wednesday nights, we're talking about temperatures all across North Dakota in the low 20s to about the even low teens. Even some spots here up here where I have my circle is potentially even colder than 10 degrees. That's very important as this cold air is rushing in. And look how this just continues through your Thanksgiving. This will be for Thanksgiving, the 27th. And look at this. This is Thanksgiving night. Let's go in the day, actually. Let's go throughout the day. Look at your daytime highs on Thanksgiving. Most of the Great Lakes are about in the lower 30s to even some 20s here. When we take a look back into the Dakotas and stuff, we are talking about daytime average temperatures in the 20s to the mid-teens potentially. So
That's
a very
wave one of
cold,
your last.
yeah, a very cold Thanksgiving looking, very likely now across the upper Midwest. And look at this for Thanksgiving night, absolutely cold. I mean, we're talking about temperatures waking up on Friday morning, potentially in the Dakotas below zero. And that's not even including the wind chill. Most of the Great Lakes in the 20s, even down all the way into Ohio. And it looks to me pretty far deep south here into Tennessee. We're talking about below 32-degree temperatures, but some very, very cold air, especially across the Dakotas here. Potentially seeing below zero in spots.
And you can see my image of it from winter. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about from GFS.
Wow, look at that. We go a little bit more. Let's go into Saturday. I mean, Saturday waking up very chilly once again. A little bit better across the Dakotas, but we're still talking about below 32 degrees. We're still talking about below 20 degrees. Most of the Midwest, you guys, very, very cold. And this is not including those wind chills. And going into Saturday, I mean, we're looking at Saturday daytime highs, you guys. This is 1 p.m. on Saturday. You'll be lucky to even see 32 degrees along this line on north, I would say. Very, very cold temperatures. I mean, look at the Dakotas. Almost below 10 degrees in the daytime on Saturday. That's very impressive. And if we go into the nighttime, wow. I mean, you're talking about all North Dakota about pretty much 10 below. Even into South Dakota, most of South Dakota, even into Bismarck and Kansas, even Oklahoma. We're talking about lower 30s.
I got impacted by that derecho on the 20th of July, or is it June, I think. They're going to have a really hard time recovering.
Yeah. Look at this for Sunday. Sunday daytime highs finally warms up a little bit across the Great Lakes.
Wait until you get to Wednesday and you'll see what I did.
Yeah, I will. No problem. Any questions, anyone, about this? Because we're kind of here just chatting away. And does anyone else have any would you guys like to say anything else? about this, what I'm showing.
One thing I gotta say is just you gotta be careful if you're out there. This is also happening on a weekend where there is a lot of traveling going on, especially in the Midwest parts. Black Friday is on the 28th. This is Small Business Saturday on the 29th. That is going to be a very big travel day for a lot of people. You're going to want to be very careful when you're out there, and especially on that weekend when we're going to see that big snow system move through much of the Midwest. You're going to want to pay attention to those temperatures as well, because what this basically is telling me, it's pretty much the Arctic blast, but it's coming in waves. The first wave's not going to be too bad, but it's going to be bringing temperatures below 20 degrees across a lot of regions in the upper Midwest. The second wave is on the 29th and 30th, and the third wave, Weather Kingdom just showed it right there. It is on around the 3rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at, this is up for December 3rd, but you guys, look at these temperatures.
The 3rd and 9th are going to probably be the worst of it.
The 6 to 10 day and going into early December, this might be a little too far, but not surprised. Look at this. We're talking about all North Dakota, all South Dakota. We're going into Michigan, even near the Great Lakes right here. This is what you call a polar vortex. Where I just lined out pretty much 5 below degrees temperatures, and this is not even wind chills. You can see some of these temperatures reaching below 10 degrees, negative 10. We're not talking about 10. We actually have even 12 right there. So extreme cold. All right, this is for December 3rd. It's a little far out, but the likelihood of the polar vortex and Arctic blast has increased significantly.
Right,
what?
The negative 15 in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Well, the 12Z, that's the one I was looking at because that's right under me.
Whoa. Did I just see that?
That second one is going to be the worst. Negative 19 in some places.
Yes, Tristan.
I would like to mention, while y'all were looking at the winter weather, I was actually taking my time to read every National Weather Service forecasting discussion in Houston, Shreveport, Lake Charles, and Jackson, Mississippi. So like we've been saying, some semi-discrete's possible, messy mode. Houston highlights this, Shreveport highlights this, and Lake Charles highlight this. But I want to give some Jackson, Mississippi wording. And they're pretty good. So they're actually very concerned. The greatest concern is actually for a few tornadoes, as recent high-res guidance shows a signal for potentially discrete supercells in the western part of their NWS market. And they're monitoring the east part too. So even if the western part of the slight doesn't do much, with the timing of the low-level jet and anything, we still would definitely want to watch Louisiana into western to central Mississippi with Jackson's wording.
Anyways. But I do have a question about the cold. Wind chill. What are we looking at for a potential on wind chill?
Let me take a look at that. I don't know where I can look at that.
Are we able to get?
Ooh, good question, actually.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, I'm not sure. You'd have to look at the wind gusts as well, and then you'd have to crunch the numbers manually at that point.
Oh, Zoom Earth can do that.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Because with the gusts, what are we looking at gusts? Pushing what, 45 in spots? You're looking at 30-minute or less frostbite with wind chills.
Yeah.
Maybe even 5-minute or less frostbite.
Look at this. This is for, once again, this is a little far-fetched out. This is past 10 days, so take this with a grain of salt. This will change. but this is what the average of the models are showing. A lot of cold air for December. I mean, this is probably ridiculous, but this is December 9th, you guys, when a very strong, powerful cold front comes in. Look at this. This is just straight out cold. We're talking about potentially negative 20 plus degrees.
That would be Brenna. Now just waiting on Adam.
What I will say is just
Now we're good.
that is very far out, but very concerning at the same time.
Yeah, because this is the 12Z.
For a very, very long December.
This is the 12Z.
Hold on, I would like to consider something before we keep going about that. We need to also consider that the cold might be a little bit more south than forecasted on the GFS. Because with that run, it also has, and we're going to briefly get into tropics here, but this is good for the front too. It does have a tropical storm trier in around the southeast United States.
Yeah, so
where the Arctic air is. So if that doesn't happen, the air could be a little bit more south than forecast because you don't have a tropical system reinforcing some of that warm air.
I agree.
So I looked at fuel temperatures. Watertown is at negative 22 on the Wednesday the 3rd.
Ouch! Oh my god!
My place negative 11.
Why does the GFS have the 12Z have a tropical storm over the Bahamas on the 9th? I'm not gonna pay attention to that.
Safe to say that GFS actually can't go that far on Zoom Earth.
Yeah, let me just show you guys this. This is actually the European, because I want to show you guys the European too, because it's a very good model. And I just don't want to base it off the GFS. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe. Let's try and get up to 10 likes. That'd be very greatly appreciated. But let's talk about a little bit about the 12Z temperatures. And then I think I want to start switching it over into more of the snowfall potential totals and where we could be talking about our next area of snow. Also give you guys some more totals on our next winter storm for the Dakotas that could be impacting with at least up to 6 inches of snow. So stay tuned for that.
Wind chill chart pulled up. So what are the winds forecasted for that big Arctic blast?
That's something we need to pay attention to.
I don't think he's focused on that.
Let me see something.
Okay, so this is the 12Z. I mean, this is for the 25th. Let's go into the 26th. I mean, look at this. This is, once again, the 27th is Thanksgiving, so this will be Wednesday. Look at the daytime highs on Wednesday. Pretty chilly in the afternoon. You're talking about, once again, across the Dakotas, even into the Great Lakes, below 32 degrees. North Dakota, low 20s to the upper teens are very possible. And this is not the GFS, you guys. This was the GFS. This is the European. All right. As we continue to take a look, I mean, look at this. Even into that Thanksgiving morning on the 27th, pretty much across the Great Lakes, all in the upper Midwest, we're talking about below 32 degrees. Some spots even around 10 degrees. We continue to go into the daytime highs too. I mean, across the Great Lakes, the Dakotas, hardly reaching the upper 20s at this given point. Probably a little bit warmer as you get into more of the Northeast, but we're still talking about hovering around 32 degrees or just below. Okay.
I just want to point something out, Weather Kingdom. All the models I've looked at over the last day and a half have shifted that freezing line and that cold, those cold temperatures further and further to the south.
Yes.
As well.
Yes. Thank you for that, Pat. Look at this on the 28th. Very cold air waking up into the morning. Single digits.
Weather Kingdom. I put in the wind chill chart in the general chat.
All right, cool.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow.
And also gave the equation for it too, so.
Okay, thank you for that.
Ooh, that's awesome.
Oh my god, it's so That's so hard to figure out.
Hey, you know,
No, not really.
if you do enough time,
He is-
you can master it.
Yeah.
T is air temp, V is wind speeds. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, look at this on the Saturday. No, Friday, actually. My bad. I got it wrong. This is Friday.
Okay, so yeah.
Afternoon.
Negative 10 to negative 15, any wind speed will have you 30-minute or less frostbite.
Thank you for that. That's actually very important.
Negative 10.
Look at this, you guys. Going into Saturday.
okay.
I mean, Saturday daytime highs once again cold. And look at that cold air. Wow, look at that. For the 30th, waking up on Sunday morning, the entire North Dakota just about below 10 degrees or more. Even South Dakota. And look at this sharp cutoff with this next big storm.
Yeah, that's
I have
good.
a-
The south
I have a
too.
big question. Can we go into a United States view during that moment? I want to see something what the Weather Prediction Center is also been saying.
Yeah, continental United States.
I want to see the layout of that. Oh, that's a warm sector too with a fast trough. The Omega calculation from Broyles will be useful next week.
Look at that cold air. I mean, especially for
Basically,
December 4th. Woo! Oh, wow.
Real quick, Weather Kingdom, when I mean the Broyles calculation, it's basically his method of predicting of a risk of the SPC risk. It's basically how fast does a trough or the exit region of a trough move within 24 hours. So depending on that, we could have an active severe weather week next week too, depending on the warm sector size also and the conditions available.
Thank you. I am looking at the temperatures across the Northeast for Thanksgiving quickly. So this is about the 25th. I just want to look at Thanksgiving. Okay, Thanksgiving is actually pretty nice. That's the 20th. No, that will be the 27th. Actually, never mind. Wednesday will be fairly warm. Potentially temperatures across the Northeast around the 50s and even lower 60s as you get further south of PA. Then when we take a look at Thanksgiving, yep, it's a whole nother day. Waking up, you're talking about in the upper 30s, still across the New England area along the coast, warmer as that cold front continues to move along. And pretty much throughout the day, already by 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving, most of Pennsylvania, most of the inland Northeast is about 30 degrees or below. And then your daytime highs looks to be around, if you're across the New England area, in the mid 40s, interior Northeast, about your upper 30s to lower 30s, and then some spots where this lake effect's going to be going on. It could be even below 30 degrees, potentially. So very chilly Thanksgiving. And then your nighttime, I mean, by 10 p.m., most of the Northeast, you're talking about most of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, in the low 30s to upper 20s. And your nighttime temperatures waking up around the 7 a.m. Look at this. Most of the Northeast dealing with temperatures below 30 degrees and probably wind chills much colder. So waking up Saturday morning looking very chilly. Even your Saturday temperature daytime highs, most spots don't even get out of 32 degrees. So that's very, very chilly air.
Honking.
What did you say? Oh, okay.
Someone's honking.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
And then you're going
Yeah,
into
that's
your
happening.
Sunday across the Northeast, Sunday night, all down to the
Yeah,
coast,
we're good.
below 32
Nice.
degrees. And then let's see, Sunday daytime highs, once again, upper 30s to lower 30s, looking very likely. So after Thanksgiving, if you guys are across the Northeast, we're looking at some very cold air, probably colder air than we've been seeing. So, I mean, I will not lie. Throughout the average of November, I did not see one day so far that reached 50 degrees. And I am in eastern Pennsylvania. So it's pretty crazy that we are on the 23rd and I haven't seen a single day reach 51. Last year and previous years, November was reaching at least an average around 50 degrees. So a little bit colder this November.
Right now, I'm in a different spot because all of November for me, I haven't had a high dip below 50.
Crazy.
Until now.
Yeah, until now. Look at this. This is for the 30th. Hey.
And I want to say till now because I hit in the 60s today. I'll be in the 50s tomorrow.
Yeah.
Through Thanksgiving for me. So
It is.
It's been a weird one for me because we did briefly this November get near freezing or very close to it because, near the Appalachian Mountains around where I am, we have a thing called cold damming, which is the leftover cold air after a cold front passes that gets trapped within the mountains. So, yes, we've been having, weirdly enough, Alabama had colder temperatures than Kansas this year. What a little bit of a ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah.
Especially when
We're about to flip the script a little bit.
There was another thing.
But also another thing we do have to keep in mind that we've been overlooking the entire time is the potential for an ice storm.
Oh, whoa. All right, hey, Weather Kim, do me a favor. Go back to that next storm. That is a beautiful pattern for all hazards. Keep going a little bit, right, very slowly. I want to see that net system position.
Yeah, I see it too.
Look at this.
I hate that signature.
Me either.
That is the day that I.
How strong is that love?
Can we look at the negative tilt trough? Can we look at the trough layers in the atmosphere? Where is it? I'm going to look for it. I want to see how strong. I want to see what this negative tilt trough is.
This right here, right? Yeah, right here.
Very positive.
I have it up.
Positively tilted. Very positively tilted.
Oh, it's positively tilted.
Yeah.
That normally makes severe weather a little less, actually.
Interesting.
Wait.
That really
go forward.
Your low pressure system and really
go forward. There. That's positive. Go forward a bit more. Oh, keep going forward. Oh, that's the classic. It is more.
What GFS says.
GFS says different.
Probably.
It's a week out, so this is not 100%. By the way, people, troughs can really change a week out.
It could change for the better, and it could change for the worse.
For the worst.
It's
50-50.
Right. So, believe it or not, 2 days ago, I actually saw a tweet coming out from my own account that was actually associated in my area. They were saying that a possible blizzard could happen in my area.
Wow.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, looking at the next storm system, it's possible.
I dealt with so far today is a couple Dairy Queen deliveries that involved in blizzards.
Anyways, Weather Kingdom, could we go to the GFS and see if the GFS agrees on the euro on the tilt of that trough? I know it is a bit out, but I just need to make sure that I'm not going crazy with that. That's a bit more. That's kind of an in between at the start. That's more positive,
Tristen, believe it or not, CSU is actually trying to do something with those too.
I mean,
they're pointing out 5 for it.
Yeah,
a 5% severe already. CSU. As far out.
Yes.
Speaking of which, a 5.4 did hit the Mid-Atlantic Ridge not too long ago. So,
oh boy,
that's nice.
I mean, look at the snowfall forecast out of this next system. I mean, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt, but
a lot of that is also lake effect as well.
Some of it is lake effect. Some of it is lake effect, I would say.
That part of the country, that's not unrealistic.
It's not.
It's not.
Not at all.
That snowfall amounts in oh my god, Canada, gosh.
Look at this lake effect. Whoa. That is some very strong winds.
That is some decent lake effect. Depending on the training, you can either get light snow or
look at this training too.
Or in your house.
That is some decent training.
This is for actually this is for your Thanksgiving morning. Look at this. Thanksgiving morning, you could be definitely waking up to some moderate to heavy snow and some gusty winds and very cold temperatures. Those wind chills. Pretty cold
temperatures versus turkey. Who will win?
This is
I
for
would-
your Saturday.
Depends on what you mean by
Hungry.
turkey. If you mean the bird or do you mean the country?
The bird.
The bird. Although I will probably take the turkey because I'm hungry.
I
Yeah.
got a couple in the freezer right now, so.
Cool.
I mean, look at this very cold
But
temperatures
basically,
across the Northeast.
But basically, what I'm saying with this setup is, if it verifies to the
Wow.
T, odds are probably won't.
I wanna. I
Make
really.
sure you have a lot of leftovers because that's probably what you guys are gonna be living on for a while because there's gonna be a lot of
I
closures.
will
Like
say.
entire states will shut down.
I will say this about that Euro run. Even if it's a positive tilted trough, that's one of those rare instances where you won't need a negative tilt trough to allow severe weather to go off.
No,
That
you
low is just that low is in a very beautiful position for all hazards.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, from tornadoes, ice storms.
Does
to
that go
blizzards.
MCS actually?
Go back to Euro.
Does that go MCS?
Go back to that Euro quickly. Go back to that mixed snowfall from that 12Z.
Does that go MCS briefly on the coast? Oh, kind of.
What, this? I'm not believing
zoom
that.
in
That's
on
too
that.
far
Oh,
out.
I mean, water.
That's too far out. Trying to predict mixed precipitation is like trying to win 2 lotteries this far out.
Yeah.
But 12-0Z
Yeah,
is
speaking
loading.
of which, I should probably get a Powerball ticket soon.
I mean, look at the overall with the models.
Commentary.
Very, very. It's been trending colder and colder, and I think that's a very big
Go
thing.
back to Florida. I'm sorry, go back to Florida. This is what I mean by we don't trust the GFS. There's a tropical storm
Yeah.
over Florida.
Oh man.
It's technically there's another hurricane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the damn map.
Okay.
GFS,
We're just losing our
the
minds now.
global fantasy.
That's
system.
actually hilarious. The physics actually makes sense. The moisture is squeezing out. You're getting a low off part of that in physics that actually makes sense. But
Yeah.
also, it's
The
like
timing
really.
here.
So I
So
do.
Timing
Yeah.
here, like
All right.
why?
Let's get back on page, you guys. A little
Please.
bit, please. All right.
Well,
Yeah.
0C is loading right now. So
So-
Don't worry, just show 2
Global
hurricanes again.
fantasy
The
system.
thing is here, you guys, I do want to stress here, please. Just remember, we're just taking a look at the longer range, just showing you guys the pattern, the temperatures, the potential storm systems. We're trying to show you that there is an active pattern coming for the Thanksgiving weekend after. Looks to me of potential severe weather across December, potentially some bigger snow hazards, even wintry mix, that was said. So we're not trying to take it as a joke. We're just, trying to kind of get an understanding here of the pattern. But if we compare the GFS and Euro, that has been coming a little bit better aligned here, is showing colder air more and more. I mean, this is not the coldest. I mean, this is where the storm system kind of develops, and it kind of just stays where these lows just keep training off, is just a little bit too north for the Northeast. And we kind of get our battle zone right where I'm making this line right here is our battle zone. I would like to see if that moves a little bit more south, because there's been trends. This was the 0Z of last night, and it was a little bit further to the north. This was 12Z a little bit further to the south. And if we take a look at yesterday's 12Z, it was actually a little bit back to the south. But it's all in coming together. When we take a look at the 12Z GFS, look at this. I mean, it looks like we're gonna have a potential snow band to develop for your Saturday across Chicago. I would like to keep an eye on this. Some of the models are agreeing, and then it kind of gets some of the models have it changing over to rain, some has a very close call, but the GFS 12Z had a little bit more warmer, and then potentially a wintry mixed bag for December 3rd across the New England. Remember, this is about 10 days out, this second system, but you see how this all aligns, an active pattern that's really going to be setting up, and then afterwards, looks to me a lot of snow and snow lake effect storms and clipper systems and very cold air. So I just want to really stress that out, that we're taking a look at the overall pattern, because we look at the 18Z, kind of the same thing, just ignore this big blob that's not even going to be there on the 0Z that's coming out. And then when we take a look at the 6Z here, once again, very cold air. So the pattern that I'm trying to explain here is some very cold air, and there's a lot of shots for some snow. Question is, where's the snow going to line up, and where could we be talking about the greatest risk? It's starting to come together a little bit, but we still have to wait and see. When we take a look at the 18Z GFS, with that next system, I mean, just take this with a grain of salt, but at the end of the run, it does show quite a bit of snow across North America. I'm just trying to show you that we're going to be talking about a lot of lake effect and a lot of storm tracks going over the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. It's looking like more likely if we take a look at the 12Z. It's been 12Z had it, the 6Z had it. We go to last night's 0Z. Yes, it's a little bit different in its spots, but for the last couple days, it's been showing. I mean, let's go even into Friday. It still had snow, and let's go into Thursday. It still had snow in the same areas. So at the end is, yes, the GFS is going to keep changing, but the overall snow is looking more and more likely in the colder temperatures. Who else agrees?
I definitely
agree
but
that
one
too.
thing we need to.
I was going to say, might be a good idea to forget Black Friday, forget small business Saturday. If you're going to do Christmas shopping, I would say gear your focus towards Cyber Monday, so you don't have to leave the house due to how bad the weather could very well be this coming up weekend.
Yes.
Also, if you have a Ollie's in your area and you have the Ollie's Army stuff set up, they have their special shopping day on December 14th. You may have to just settle for that because of how bad the weather is setting up for this weekend. Just giving you that heads up there.
For sure.
Thank you.
One thing I need to point out too is watch the trends over the next couple of days with those models. They've been trending, the cold air and this has been trending further and further to the south. What that's going to mean is we're going to see more snowfall potential further and further to the south, potentially putting St. Louis in the line of fire, potentially putting areas as far south as Indianapolis in the line of fire as well. You're going to want to watch those trends. If they continue to trend further to the south, and there's every reason at this point to think that they will, they have been the last couple of days, you're going to want to watch out if you're in St. Louis, if you're in Indianapolis, and areas further to the south than what we've shown you tonight.
Yes.
Also, we have another angle we might want to check.
I personally know someone in Indiana that would.
So do I have family there.
I know a lot of people in Indiana. I went to school there.
I know a lot of people in Indiana, and one thing they have in common is they are backstabbers. But anyways, I had a bad experience in Indiana. But what I was gonna say, also, another angle we haven't checked on is drought monitor. I'm not sure how that is looking right now, but if you are in an area with drought, I would say probably don't use fire-related heating elements in case any ambers come out and start igniting stuff.
Okay.
We don't
Go
get
to
that going on.
Through as well.
Oh wow! This is actually more shocking than I thought. Thank you. I used to always check drought monitors. I know the exact website. A lot of the South, the Midwest, the East Coast, and the Southwest are actually in decent drought conditions. The levels I'm seeing, there's a decent amount of patches with drought number 3, and there's an area of Florida with drought 4. Florida?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, because hurricane season didn't produce anything hitting the U.S., I'm not surprised Florida's in a drought. So,
yeah, parts of Florida are actually the driest out of the nation, actually.
Fire to warm up
if you're able to, due to the risk of wildfires and all that stuff, because with drought conditions, you got a higher risk of wildfires.
And wind gusts with dry conditions, especially when Arctic blasts pull through.
And that also means Christmas trees go with like probably a fake trees this year to lower the risk of house fires caused by using real trees.
Here's the thing about that, and I'm actually going to say this: you're fine with a live tree as long as you water it. As long as you water it, you keep it under good conditions. You don't keep the water.
Although, if you're in drought conditions, you want to limit water use. Although, considering in drought conditions, you want to limit water use, so that's another argument for using fake trees.
Well, maybe in Florida, perhaps for sure.
Maybe Florida or California.
Yeah, but in other parts of the country, like the Midwest, I don't think they're going to heed that too much.
All right.
They love their Christmas trees.
I want to get going with the next little thing. Thank you. What else?
But it's just like a word of advice more than anything.
Just for the memes, can we look at the Google Mine for the Caribbean? Please.
Weather Kingdom, was that the next thing you wanted to get to?
That actually was a little bit about the tropics. But let me just finish up on this topic before we get into the tropics. And then probably from the tropics, I'm going to close it out because I do need to get to bed soon. I have a busy week coming up.
Let's focus on what already exists. Benna, invest in the Western Pacific,
I'm not there yet.
and invest in the Bay of Bengal.
We're not quite there yet. We're letting Weather Kingdom finish up his little thing here, and then we'll get to tropics.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is the CFS long range model. I do show this in some of my videos, and I'm actually going to show it here. This has been very consistent, and it's actually been right. I was looking at this, I would say about a month ago, and it was saying for your later November to early December, it was showing out in the long range of that potential polar blast. So I like to use the CFS. I think it's good for the long range. Short range, not really, but longer range, it definitely picks up on the future pattern. And we're going to go a little bit, but this is the next 144 hours. Let's keep going. This is the overall pattern. Take this the next 300 hours a little bit for a grain of salt. We already talked about it on your global models, but look at after that, okay? Majority of North America and especially across Northeast, pretty chilly air. The storm system tracks continue. There is a few quieter periods in between. And then, as you get into later December, looks like that active pattern continues to wake back up and some very cold air. And then by the end of it, take this with a grain of salt. Once again, very cold air, an active cold pattern. And if this, I just want to say this. If you have a very cold December across the United States, it's very likely to help the snowpack and help that colder air for January and February in the heart of winter to produce more snow and colder air across the Northeast, the upper Midwest, even parts of the West, Southeast, majority across the USA. Depending on the patterns going into January, but if December is relative colder, snowier, it could set the stage what we could be talking about in later months with the winter. I do have a winter outlook coming out in the next couple days, hopefully. Worst case scenario in the next week, because I do go on vacation by Wednesday. I'm hoping I can get it out by Wednesday, but if not, I'll get it out by when I come back. But to close it out with this segment on this part here, what I want to bring it back to is this. From the Climate Prediction Center showing 3 to 4 weeks temperatures into about December 6th to the 19th, looking much colder and snowier of a pattern. And even with the precip, especially across the Great Lakes, as I think Great Lakes are going to be dealing with some more lake effect and clipper systems, I do believe we're talking about near or above average precip possible. So just keeping that in mind and just be prepared for an active pattern. And I am expecting tomorrow, because I am off, I might go live. It just depends on the severe weather, and potentially I might even do a part 2 to this and kind of give you guys all the new data that kind of shares along. So that's very good news. I'm trying to get out at least enough videos and live streams before I do go on vacation that you guys do have an indication what's going to happen over Thanksgiving. But for the last and great segment of it all, believe it or not, you guys, I thought I was done with it, and hopefully we do not have to bring it back up, is the Caribbean, okay? The Caribbean of the Caribbean, okay? I think our weather team has
They don't call
done
me
a very
Caribbean jerk for nothing.
We've been closely monitoring it for the last couple of days now.
I can't do anymore. I don't want to get this copyrighted.
Not only that, but if we are talking about a 2013 pattern, what did December of 2013 have?
Lots
And
of
then-
One
snow.
more name of
Yes.
the Atlantic by the data set. So I'm very curious to see if we will have a rare chance of that too.
So I want to just look at
not-
the ensembles and just kind of take it a look out. I mean, I'm going to look at all the ensembles. It is a little interesting. Even the European ensembles does show a few L's in the Caribbean. Not a lot, but this is the European. It does show a little bit of a signal across parts of the deep into the Caribbean, across Mexico area. When we take a look at the GEFS, we can actually take a look at the 18Z and 12Z. 18Z and 12Z about the same, not a lot, to be honest with you guys. I just don't really see it. If we even go 336 hours, there's a little bit of a signal of something in the Caribbean, but it's not a lot. I'm not too concerned as of right now, but it is a little bit interesting that the Google DeepMind models, the AI models, does indicate, once again, a little bit of a potential system that does try and develop and then enter in the Gulf and then head for Florida. I don't think that's going to happen, but I would like to keep an eye that there is at least a 20% chance of an area being invested. I mean, this is another Google DeepMind model. These have done very well this year. That's why we are taking a look at this. And they do show some potential tropical storm tracks. Okay, all the ensembles does have at least a 20% given. That's why I am talking about it. Also, my weather team has continued to alert me about it, just to, post about it and at least keep you guys up and dated on this. So that's why I wanted to do the streaming stuff. The European main model doesn't really show anything through the whole
There's
run.
a little bit of an area of moisture that you see circulating around some point.
Around December 1st, around the deep thing.
There is a small little area that tries.
Yeah, I mean, the
But
Canadian
that's not.
doesn't really either. But remember, we have to wait and see. I don't really believe we're going to have another name. I mean, if we do, it will be, I think, weaker. I just think there's just a little bit. But, I mean, this is the GFS. This is why I don't like believing it. Because the GFS always shows, once it sees one little spin off South America, it does like to spin it up relatively quickly. And 90% of the time that doesn't happen. And actually, looking at records with the Atlantic across the models, the GFS was the worst model on the Atlantic hurricane season and the worst of the year. So just keeping you guys in mind that the GFS actually has been not the most accurate model and the least accurate. So I'm wondering if they do make a new version of the GFS in the next coming year or so.
They are. They're gonna call it AI.
The GFS has basically been that friend that tries to give you advice, and 90% of the time it doesn't work out.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because every time they try to give advice, they are hammered.
Yeah.
They're basically that friend who gets stoned and then tries to give
Okay.
you advice.
I mean, even the European AI model doesn't really.
Yeah, it recently just tried to. Earlier, in the runs though, it did show a tropical storm near the Yucatan. That was some runs ago
I saw
though.
that too. Anyway, Weather Kingdom, I'm just gonna let you know I'm about to get going. I'm pretty tired. I got some other stuff to do before I go to bed. But I do want to briefly talk about this real quickly. If I will say this, am I gunning? Am I going to be that guy that says, "Oh, this is going to develop"? No, there's a low shot of this going to happen. But if it does, it'll be very, very interesting to see how this pans out because you're dealing with winter weather, severe weather, tropical weather, all in 1 week. Regardless of how this develops, it's going to be a very busy week for so many people, and for especially us. As we're watching the weather and keeping an eye on it, we're definitely going to be paying attention to this, and we'll keep you updated here on Weather Kingdom's channel, and I will do the same on Pat's Path Predictor.
Yes.
I'll be covering this all week. But Weather Kingdom, thanks for having me on. I'm going to turn it to everyone else, and I'm going to say stay safe, everybody, and have a good night.
Yes, thank you.
Basically, real quick before you go, it's basically the models are saying the tale of 3 seasons.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
and it's also been a busy week.
A little bit of every. Hey, Weather Kingdom.
Earthquakes.
Yes.
Weather Kingdom. As John would say, we're dealing with a little bit of
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a jack of all trades.
Yes.
You know what? That's awesome. That's all for reference.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we're also been busy with volcanoes and earthquakes this past week because Semru had their large eruption with power classic flows and lahars. And now we have a volcano going bonkers in Ethiopia.
I heard about that.
Area. And we had a 5.5 in Dhaka, Bangladesh, which did kill, sadly. And we had 5s in Anchorage. We had a 5 in Greenland. We had a 4.5 in the Virgin Islands. I guess they're not very much of virgins anymore with that.
Okay.
We also had a 5.4 in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
Okay.
Not Mid-Atlantic States, Mid-Atlantic Ridge. So it's been a busy week for geology as well.
Yeah.
And last week, I'm not sure if it was last week or the week before, it was a busy week for space weather with a CME, with a big geomagnetic storm, and that was a whole thing. So it's just been busy for everyone this past month. So I'm not surprised that everything else seems to be coming at the head, and also not surprised that we're getting a little bit more active later on. I'm not because the sun is the main fuel source for the weather we have on the planet, as it fuels, it heats. So I'm not surprised when the sun has anything crazy, it may reflect on Earth's weather soon after. Because
there's another thing that Delta just pointed out to us, I think 2 days ago, that we might have another geomagnetic storm hit the Earth just from, and I don't know if, what I'm looking at or not.
I'm gonna get going, guys. You have a nice night. I'll see you guys.
You
later.
too, Pat. See you later. See you.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
But it seems like that there's another sunspot pointing maybe directly at the Earth.
Yeah. I do want to.
If it flares, I could see that. But if it doesn't do anything, it doesn't do anything.
Okay. I will be ending the stream actually pretty soon because I am kind of tired and I've kind of talked about everything. Is there anything else on the lines with the cold, the snow, and the severe weather, and the upcoming pattern, you guys?
No, I think we covered everything.
Those tuning in from Australia and Asia, we do have Cyclone Finna along the northern Australian coast with 115 mile-an-hour winds as of this moment. Do know, or it might have weakened since because I haven't checked on updates
it hasn't
like I should have.
It hasn't weakened yet. It's gonna do it really soon.
But as is, it's mostly seems to be impacting the northern parks. So basically, just don't try to go camping up in those parks, and you should be fine. But beyond that, we do, if I'm not mistaken, we still do have an invest in the Bay of Bengal, and we do have an invest in the Western Pacific in between the Philippines and Taiwan, or in that vicinity. So
By the way, you're not going to be able to get Invest 95B through Tropical Tidbits, so I will get it through the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I really didn't want to really talk about the other tropics. I kind of wanted to stay focused in this environment with the winter weather. But thank you for your guys' information on that. That's very also important. Is there anything else along with the severe weather and winter weather, Tristen?
No. I'm looking at the Australia Doppler radar right now.
Okay. For that being said, all right, I'm gonna be ending the stream, you guys. I really appreciate everybody tuning in here tonight. I think it went pretty well. I hope you guys got the information that I was trying to really show. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, but either way, we got a lot of information out. I'm most likely going to do another stream tomorrow, if that is with the severe weather, and then changing it over to the long range pattern. We might be doing that. But for that being said, you guys have a great night. I hope you guys really liked and enjoy. If you guys are new to the channel, please like, please subscribe, and also please go check out our members community on the YouTube channel. I do have membership. It is relatively very nice. I do already have 2 people, Daniel and WX Tropics. I would really appreciate to continue to build that along the next coming months, as when we get to hurricane season, that also is really well built. Also, for that being said,